Hi everyone, Vega here. In today's video I thought we'd look at the DUBHE star, which was voted for reasonably well on a recent poll. DUBHE, I sort of know of the star, but I'm not massively familiar with it. So I thought it might be quite interesting to go through it together, just to learn together about the star. So let's have a look then. So Alpha Ursae Majoris, and as you can see there, it's this star here, isn't it? So the top right hand side of what we call the plough or the big dipper. Some quite other interesting stars there as well, isn't there? Alioth, I think we've looked at before, and an Alcade as well. If we look at Space Engine, let's have a look at, see if we can find DUBHE. And here it is, of course, in Space Engine it appears to be a binary star, and that's also, as seems to be the case in Wikipedia, it says the second brightest object in the northern constellation of Ursa Major. So that's another interesting thing, isn't it? That another one of those where the Alpha star isn't the brightest star. Let's have a look at what the brightest star in Ursa Major is, shall we? There we are. It says DUBHE, doesn't it? The bear. Presumably in Arabic, DUBHE means bear. I don't really know. And it says the 35th brightest star in the night sky. So if we go down the list, we can find 35th. Actually, it says 34 here, doesn't it? So it could be including the sun, perhaps. And it looks like Alioth is slightly brighter there, as you can see. Very not much in it really. Plus 1.77 for Alioth, which is Epsilon Ursae Majoris. Sometimes these Greek letters are quite difficult, aren't they? Epsilon Ursae Majoris, which is Alioth, which is an A-type star. And DUBHE just slightly dimmer at 1.79, but it says here it's a K-type, almost in the G-class there. K0s are pushing towards the G-class giant star, and the main sequence F-type star, again almost pushing there into the A-class F0. And at last, it's a northern hemisphere star. So I don't know if those of you who've been watching the channel for a while now might have noticed that seems that almost every time we look at a star, an interesting star, that they seem to be in the southern hemisphere, but for once we've got one in the north, so that's good news. So let's have a look at this on Space Engine. This one's the K giant here. Let's zoom in on DUBHE A, which is designated as DUBHE A. There's the K giant of DUBHE. Beautiful, isn't it? Space Engine. Some of these views with I love the way the camera reflects the light there. And let's have a look at DUBHE B from as seen almost from DUBHE A. There's DUBHE B as seen from DUBHE A. The twin DUBHE stars there. It says in the information DUBHE B from roughly where we are, is roughly at DUBHE A, isn't it? Is an apparent magnitude of -22, so it is actually a very bright star in the skies of DUBHE A. It's a shame there aren't any procedurally drawn planets here, because it would be beautiful to look at the twin stars of DUBHE, wouldn't it, in the skies of a planet. Let's just make sure there's not any. There's quite a bright one there, actually, isn't there? Let's see what that one is. 24 Canem Venaticorum. No, that's a star. So let's just have a quick look. It's quite a bright one. Bright star there, isn't there? That one there is Musida, which is Omicron, Ursae Majoris. 179 light years. So if DUBHE was 120, it's probably around 60 light years from DUBHE. It says apparent magnitude of 1.41. That's a G-type bright giant. Oh look, is that the Pleiades? It looks like the Pleiades, doesn't it? Yeah, there's the Pleiades. They seem to pop up everywhere. And maybe this is one Aldebaran then? No, it's not. Another orange bright star. I know that Aldebaran is somewhere generally in the vicinity of the Pleiades cluster. There's Musida again, and that's looking back towards the centre of the galaxy. Very bright star there. Isar, Epsilon Bootes. That's a very bright star. Let's have a quick look at Isar on Wikipedia. Epsilon Bootes, officially named Isar, is a binary star in the northern constellation of Bootes, and it's a K-giant and an A-type main sequence star. K-giant is actually quite big, isn't it? A mass of 4.6 and a luminosity there of 652 solar luminosities. Isar is quite an interesting star. Look, there's a beautiful And we have a beautiful view there of the DUBHE stars, also with Ursae in the picture. Let's have a look back towards the sun from DUBHE. So the sun from DUBHE, as you can imagine, 123 light years out of naked eye view at 7.68 apparent magnitudes. So DUBHE, if there is any life there, there's probably nobody knows much about us, that's for certain. Let's have a look at some of the interesting facts. This is starfacts.com. DUBHE and its Big Dipper neighbour Merak are known as the pointer stars because they're used to find Polaris. That's quite interesting, isn't it? So presumably if this one here is DUBHE and that one there must be Merak in the Ursae Majoris constellation. A spectroscopic binary star. It doesn't look like a spectroscopic, does it, on Space Engine? There's a reasonable distance there looking at them between. How far apart are they? Spectroscopic binary made up of stars Ursae Majoris A and Alpha Ursae Majoris B. Separation of about 23 astronomical units in a period of 44 years. So Neptune is 30 astronomical units and Uranus is 19 astronomical units from the Sun. So roughly the distance, if this was the Sun here, that's roughly the distance to Uranus. So you can actually imagine why the B star there, which is a K-type main sequence, are very much like the Sun actually, K0, or perhaps more like Tau Cetus or even Ptolemy, but relatively powerful stars. So the two stars are not going to be faint, they're going to be very, very bright in each other's skies. I'm not sure what the brightness of DUBHE A would be from DUBHE B. You can see the orange sort of colour there of the K giant. Let's have a look at DUBHE A. So there's looking back at DUBHE A, which was the K giant star, of course, not the K-type main sequence star, which is the B star. And that one from the B star, which is the main sequence K-type star, says has an apparent magnitude of 25.58. So it's looking from a planet which was roughly the distance of Uranus. It would almost be as bright as the Sun on planet Earth, or somewhere in between Mars and Earth. So obviously a much more powerful star than our Sun. No, that's another interesting star, isn't it? Pridipati. And so there's all these stars. Like, it was looking at the Pleiades, think, oh, it must be Aldebaran. Aldebaran really is the sort of generally the large star in the vicinity of the Pleiades, at least from Earth anyway. Nearfak, probably not going to find Aldebaran now, I know. And Gardus and Camp Dilinan. I don't know, I've never heard of that one before. Let's see where Aldebaran is, shall we? Just to calm me down a little bit in all the excitement. Aldebaran, there it is. So it's in the vicinity of the Pleiades, but obviously because we're not looking from the Sun, it's perhaps not as close as it would have been looking from the Sun. Aldebaran, incidentally, from DUBHE, has an apparent magnitude of 2.3, so not quite as bright as in our skies. And there's the galaxies there, of course, the large and small Magellanic Cloud. That's a bright one there, isn't it? Oh, that's Canopus. Canopus, of course, bright in all the skies. Isn't that a wonderful view? So we've got the two very, very bright galaxies, which would be presumably the similar sort of brightness from DUBHE as they are from Earth. Then we've got Canopus, which is a white bright giant, which is essentially the brightest star in the very local vicinity, maybe of 500 to 600 light years. That's a bright one. Merak, that's another one in Ursae Majoris, isn't it? And then looking across to the Pleiades and some of these other interesting stars, again, that one is Tau, isn't it? I always have to look back at these Greek letters because I never know exactly what it is. So we've got Tau, Ursae Majoris. So, oh Lord, we've got something else there as well. That looks like Andromeda, yeah. So quite the view then from something else. Carina Nebula, that's the name. So is it Eta Carinae somewhere around there as well? Betelgeuse, Rigel, and this is Orion, isn't it? As seen from DUBHE, Bellatrix, and it's upside down, of course, isn't it? This is Betelgeuse and inside out. So what's a view? What's a view from DUBHE B towards DUBHE? Of course, it will vary because the two orbit each other. Let's just put them both in and let's have a look at them. The DUBHE stars orbiting each other. And there they go. Look at the view. You've got so many fascinating fascinating things from the DUBHE system. Component A is the system's primary, a giant star that's evolved away from main six. We already know that, don't we, from the designation of K3. The traditional name of DUBHE, I'm assuming I'm pronouncing DUBHE right. I'm fairly sure I am, because I think I've heard it somewhere before. Derived from the Arabic for bear, so yes, the bear star, shall we say. Official star of the state of Utah. That's quite strange, isn't it? Well, I wonder why that is. Because DUBHE's not one of the stars that most people think of when they think of stars. Most people think of something like Betelgeuse, or if they can even name another star other than the sun, the probably first one comes to mind is probably Betelgeuse, isn't it? Particularly from the film Betelgeuse. Why is DUBHE on the flag of Utah? So, being part of the Great Bear, I'm not sure what the connection between Utah and the Ursa major constellation is. Perhaps if anyone knows, you could let me know in the comments. But there's obviously some sort of connection with Utah being a bear state, perhaps, and obviously the constellation, and then DUBHE, the bear star itself as well. Obviously I'm not from the US or indeed from Utah, so you'll have to let me know if anyone does know the reason why DUBHE, which is a bit of an obscure star, as I say, it's not a famous star by any means, why it's become the official star of Utah. It's quite an honour for the state of Utah, or for the DUBHE star, depending on which way you look at it, isn't it? Let's just see if there's anything else more interesting before we wrap up today's video. Okay, so there is another F-class star, spectroscopic companion of about 8 arc minutes from the main pairing. Seventh magnitude, sometimes known as Alpha 8 Ursae Majoris C, but it is in fact more distant. So it's just a line of sight. It's not actually in the system. So again, 123 light years away, and the most distant of the Big Dipper stars, which, while most of them are only 80 light years away. It's quite interesting, isn't it? I wasn't fully aware of that. It does say here, DUBHE became the official star of the state of Utah in 1996, and it was selected because it's 100 years for its light to reach Earth. Okay, seems a bit of an odd reason, but good luck to both parties with that. It says DUBHE and Merak point towards Regulus. That's quite an interesting one, isn't it? So there's Arcturus there, and DUBHE and Merak point towards Regulus. So let's just have a look at that, shall we? Let's pause time here, and let's have a look towards Regulus. If that one's Regulus, that one's Regulus. So where's Merak then? Because if we're looking from DUBHE, we should see Merak, shouldn't we? It should be relatively bright. Obviously the bright one there's Canopus. Oh, there's Acrux, another fascinating star there. We're really looking across the space here, because DUBHE obviously being in the northern hemisphere, and we're looking basically south in terms at least of Earth dimensions, because Canopus is certainly a southern hemisphere star, and Acrux and obviously the Southern Cross stars here, or at least presumably some of them, yeah, Mimosa being at Southern Cross. But where's Merak then? Let's find where Merak is. There's Merak. So 39 light years roughly from DUBHE, apparent magnitude plus 0.7, so a very bright star indeed, although not as bright as Canopus. Canopus is actually in the zero, in the minus is here, but not quite as bright as it is from Earth, so we're actually headed away from Canopus a little bit. That was Merak there, wasn't it? Beta, Ursae Majoris, and then the view back to Regulus. So we're actually looking that way and then going back down to Regulus as per this diagram here. Regulus, of course, the star that's certainly used in the Harry Potter franchise, name of Regulus. So I don't know about the Ursae Majoris stars in the southern hemisphere. I know that we see them very clearly in the north. It says here the circumpolar, which makes sense, doesn't it? Because they are relatively high in the sky. So there you go, DUBHE, a beautiful star system, the Bear Star, with fantastic views to all kinds of interesting places from the DUBHE star, which certainly makes it an interesting place to visit. I think we'll wrap the video up there. Take really good care of yourselves, everybody, and look after your friends, families, and all your loved ones well, and I'll see you in the next one.